Now, he was only elected to the Assembly in 2016, but in those 3 years, Neil McAvoy has been no stranger to controversy. Most recently, he's been called before an ethics committee in his capacity as a Cardiff City Councillor. It follows allegations in a report from the Public Services Ombudsman about the way that he dealt with social services staff. Last week, he said he was withdrawing his application to be readmitted to Plaid Cymru. Expelled from Plaid Cymru's Assembly group in 2017 due to what was described as an irrevocable breakdown of trust, Neil McAvoy was suspended from the party itself in March last year. The South Wales Central AM has always vowed to return to the party fold and to win Cardiff West from the First Minister. So it was a bit of a surprise last week when Mr McAvoy announced he was withdrawing his appeal against suspension. I caught up with him this afternoon to hear why he's changed his mind. Neil McAvoy, why have you withdrawn your application to rejoin Plaid Cymru?
Because I lost confidence in the whole process. There was a complete lack of natural justice, a lack of transparency, and I wasn't going to go before a hand-picked committee to be expelled for 5 years.
Was it an admission that the complaints were legitimate complaints?
Well, first of all, I'd like to talk about the complaints, what they are, and actually let people know, because they only talk about behaviour. I was expelled in writing for the following reasons. I didn't do enough to stop people clapping me going into a conference.
You're talking about that conference in Newport.
2017. People have seen the footage online. Secondly, I wouldn't let the chair edit my speech. Now, he didn't ask any other person speaking to change their speech, so I didn't think he had the right to...
Well, without going into too much detail of that
Edits,
time, a long time ago, wasn't it that there was a lot of controversy? I remember I was there at the time. There was controversy about you and your position and what you might say as a responsible chair. Wasn't that the reasonable thing for him to do at the time?
Not really, no, because I think what I said was very reasonable. People saw that, and I think it begs a question about freedom of speech if an unelected person can tell an elected person what they can and cannot say. So those are the reasons.
Have you given up trying to rejoin Plaid Cymru then?
Absolutely not. The support out there amongst members is very, very strong. I spent the weekend in Cardiff, also down in West Wales, and it was made clear to me in no uncertain terms that people do not want me to leave the party completely. They want me to stand against the First Minister, and people in Plaid Cymru, members of Plaid, want to beat Labour, and that's the key point.
Just to be clear then on that, would you stand as an independent in Cardiff West? Because that's what you're talking about.
I want to stand as a Plaid Cymru candidate. I will be challenging the First Minister, and we are very, very close to totally dismantling the Labour Party in Wales. It's the HQ.
But if you can't get back into Plaid Cymru, you'd consider standing as an independent?
I'm on record already as saying that I will, and if I'm breathing, I'll be standing.
You mentioned support in the party, but it also seems that there's no support amongst the group in the Assembly. They didn't want you back. How would you work with them?
Well, I think everyone needs to be professional. We need to focus on the wider picture, which is forming a Plaid Cymru government with Adam Price as First Minister. People are crying out for change. And everybody out there, including Mark Drakeford, including the Labour Party, know that I'm the only candidate who can win Cardiff West, who can beat the Labour Party. So let's focus on that. It's a wider picture thing.
This is not the only controversy, for want of a better term, that you're involved in. A dispute with the Public Service Ombudsman in a report to do with your handling of a case. And I'll quote these terms: demanding, undermining and intimidating. Do you recognise those words?
I was certainly demanding. A child has alleged abuse in care. On the back of the publicity, the council are now talking about transferring the child out of that care home, and I welcome that. And
do you think you were intimidating in the way that you dealt with staff?
My priority is to look after the people who have voted for me.
I'm challenging you about your approach, your role in this. Do you think you? I mean, can you be over intimidating sometimes? Can you step over the line?
There's a real danger in Wales now where elected people like me are being intimidated.
Yeah, but that's not quite the question though. Do you think when you go about your business, can you sometimes go too far? Can you be a bully?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely.
On the occasions where that has been alleged, I've been sticking up for the person without a voice.
I'm just going to persist with asking questions of you because you're the one in front of me. There's this particular dispute with the Ombudsman. There was that previous case that you talked about, in which you dropped your appeal then. You fell out with Plaid Cymru, you fell out with Labour. Do you sometimes ask yourself, is it me? Is it you? Is it your behaviour?
But I have tremendous support, tremendous relationships with members all over Wales. Members have been in touch from every corner of Wales, many constituencies. I ran the Ely by-election. We had members of Plaid Cymru from all over Wales, and actually people who are not members of Plaid Cymru supporting us in that by-election. On a personal level, I've still got the same friends now as I had in primary school, and lots of new friends as well. And I'm here to do a job. I'm here to act professionally. I was elected on a platform of not politics as usual, and that's the way that I do my job, Adrian.
What's your political future? Plaid Cymru or independent?
It's for other people to decide. But what I will say is that there's an election for the chair of Plaid Cymru. One of the candidates has made it very clear that he would like an amnesty. Dr Dewi Evans would like an amnesty for members who've been expelled recently, because we need to bring everyone together. We need to work together, think of the wider picture, listen to the membership, listen to the public, and get rid of this awful government in Wales.
Neil McAvoy, thank you very much.
Diolch yn fawr.
Well, we put Neil McAvoy's criticisms of the appeals process to Plaid Cymru, which has issued this statement confirming that Neil McAvoy has withdrawn his membership application. As a result, it says, the process that was underway has ended, as there is no decision to be made. It goes on to say that lawyers acting for Plaid Cymru will consider Mr McAvoy's letter and he will receive a response in due course, and that the party is focused on sharing its positive message and winning the 2021 election.